Oh, we have a nice big group. Okay. Good afternoon on this wild and woolly Wednesday in downtown Brisbane. I'm Linda. I'm a mental health mama and I'm your anxiety consultant. Today we're going to have a look at another aspect of social anxiety. Remember, it's like the old layer cake, so it's layer upon layer upon layer. Sorry, excuse me, just looking. It's actually quite windy. That's the word, windy. It's a windy Wednesday. And so we're going to look at another layer, another aspect of social anxiety so that you can be aware in your day-to-day life what's happening for you. And on Monday, you will have set a goal. If you haven't watched the first video, go and have a look, check out, set a goal, and let's do this so that by the time we get to Friday, you'll have become more aware of one aspect of social anxiety that's interrupting your life, your day-to-day life, and which, if we work out a plan, we can overcome it and get back to our normal, healthy, everyday life. Because there was once upon a time, and it wasn't a fairy tale, when you didn't have social anxiety. Okay, it may feel like it's gone on forever and ever and ever. And trust me, with anxiety, it can become so crippling that we really do feel like, is there ever going to be an end to this? The answer is yes, once we start addressing our issues from the inside out. Okay? Now, what do I mean by that? I mean that if you look at the analogy of an iceberg, so you can see so much above the waterline and it's underneath that we've got to have a really good look at. Okay? And it can be our subconscious, it can be our ego that we need to look at. But today we're going to learn another part that we need to examine in order to overcome our social anxiety. Right, so let's pull up our list for today and see what's happening. Okay, so today is social anxiety and overcoming our fear. Now, yesterday we discovered that the root cause of our fear is a fear of mankind. Okay, so we actually have reached a space where we're afraid of other people. Now, fear is also multifaceted, so when we tend to lump everything, oh, you're just afraid. Well, no. If it was just fear, I'd just go jump off a bridge and overcome it. With a bungee cord tied to me, of course. But it's not. Fear is also multifaceted, has many different components that lead us to a place where we're afraid. Okay? Now, today's part is to recognise that this particular kind of fear is rooted in our heart. Okay, so it's not our mind. We're not trying to overcome something in our mind. We've got to dig deeper into our heart. So we've got to come below the surface, down into the underneath in the water. So remember, got this nice big chunk of ice above the water, and then down below is a far bigger chunk of ice that we've got to address. Or if we go back to our foundation analogy in the building, there is so many layers of foundation that go down before the building goes up. So we're going down into the foundations to discover what on earth is happening at a heart level for us that social anxiety has overtaken our lives. Okay? Pull it apart, actually. One of the things we need to do, one of the reasons why we need to do that is because we need to have a change of heart. Okay? We need to be able to change our heart so that we can change our behaviour, change our actions. If we don't have change at a heart level, then the change won't become permanent. So I was aware of an individual who had a very big anger problem, and they modified their behaviour to appear outwardly that they weren't angry anymore. But because they hadn't done the heart work, eventually they just exploded again. Took them a year, but they exploded again. Okay, so if we don't do the work at a heart level, we're just modifying our behaviour and not much else has changed. Okay, so on the outside people think, oh yeah, you know, they don't have a problem. But on the inside, when you work closely or live closely with people, you're aware that their heart hasn't actually changed. Okay, so we want to change the motivation and source of our behaviour. So when you relate that to social anxiety, we want to be able to sit down and ask ourselves for motivation, what am I gaining from keeping to repeat the behaviour of being afraid? Okay, so what am I gaining if I keep the behaviour of being afraid? So what are the facets that are coming in that build up that fear, that cripple me? All right. One of the things that we never know what other people's intentions are. So intentions come from the heart. And as we go on and get through life, if we pay close attention, often we can identify people's intentions even when they're not telling themselves the truth. But when it comes to social anxiety, we have to become aware of what our intentions are in this situation. So to turn our behaviour around as well. So do I want to be able to, or put it this way, what is a goal that you have that involves social anxiety? So if your goal was that you just want to be able to go to the supermarket without feeling like everybody's got their eyes on you, everybody's waiting to judge you and criticise you, etc., then you're going to change your motivation for going, all right? So you're going to drop all that and you're going to build into yourself a motivation for going is that I need food. So you're changing your focus in your mind, but you're also building into your heart that you have a positive motivation and a positive reason, positive intention. You're setting your intent that this is why I'm going. And when you can focus on that heart intent more than what's going on in the head, because we build it into it, we feel it, things can change. Okay? It does take time, it does take planning, but it can happen and does happen. Okay? Now, we have to acknowledge that the anxiety is coming from within us, not outside of us. So when you look at social anxiety, we tend to think everything's happening outside of us. There's people out there. I'm going into a crowd. This is what's going to happen. And it's very real. Don't ever let anyone tell you it's not, because it is. It's very, very real. And even all our senses can go into overload, which can trigger an anxiety or a panic attack from the inside as well. But when we realise that in order to change the social anxiety, we have to do an inside job, it then becomes, right, what's happening is inside of me, and I've got a say in what's happening inside of me, okay? Not other people. And one of the key things that you can do for that is begin to feel good about who you are as a person. Because I know that you're really kind. I know that you care. I know that you want to be more aware of what's happening around you and what you want to do with your life. Okay? And you want to be able to take that out into the world in whatever form that comes in. And I don't know why I keep getting the impression of a doctor, but if you want to go out and be a doctor, then you're going to have to deal with people. And so if you had social anxiety in that situation, you would just build into your heart that I'm doing this, my intention, my reasons for doing this are greater from my heart, than what the anxiety is, which seems to be on a merry-go-round in my head. It does take time, and you use your breathing technique of 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out, as you build good feelings into you, okay? Positive feelings. And remember, the people around you are telling you that you're all these wonderful things. Believe them. It's time to start believing them, okay? So we build up our self-confidence, our self-worth, our self-awareness, etc., etc., okay? We also need to get to the root of the issue or the problem. If a massive tree got planted and the roots came down into the foundation of our building and, down underneath, and they started to crack a wall, well, unless you dealt with the root of the problem, you're not going to get rid of the tree up there. You could chop bits of the tree down, on the outside of the building, but unless you get down into the root that's breaking the wall, then you're not going to be able to eradicate it completely, okay? So we've dealt a lot with things that we can change, awareness that we can have, but you will need to sit down in a space that is very quiet, do a meditation. You want to begin to be able to feel what's the root of the problem. Now, you don't sit down and say, what's the root of my social anxiety? That doesn't work, all right? Because remember, it's multifaceted. It comes in many different pieces. So when you're becoming aware of what's happening for you, you're going to take it one piece at a time, all right? And that's how our awareness gets deeper and deeper within ourselves, is that we want to shine a light on the roots that are holding us back from living a really healthy life, okay? And we do that. I don't know if you call it for the rest of your life, but we certainly do. If we've had a very traumatic life, it does take quite considerable time to get to the roots, because we only get to them when we're strong enough to forgive, to learn to forgive as well. And that in itself is a process which happens over a period of time and is easy when we're willing, okay? If you have any questions, pop them down below. If you need anything at all, just let me know. Today there was news going around the world of a lady who committed suicide. In America, there's 123 suicides a day. And in Australia, the rate's not that much lower either. So let's hit share to care for others who may never be able to do anything for us, but unknowingly we have done a lot for them. Okay? Bless you, and thank you for watching today. If you're here for the replay, hit #replay, and I will respond. And I look forward to going into another facet of social anxiety tomorrow. Bless you all. And if you need the list, just let me know and I can message it to you. Okay? Bye for now.